The fourth thing you need is specialized knowledge, according to Napoleon Hill. And this is a really big one. You've all heard the phrase, knowledge is power. Well, that's wrong. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is potential power. It's only powerful if you do something with it. You have to have a plan of action. You obviously you have to have something to offer, and that's what knowledge is. But then you have to put it into a format, and that's what we call our plan of action. And then finally, you have to actually implement it so that you're not just doing, paralysis of analysis. You're not just talking. You're actually performing. You're doing something. So you need that combination. At some point, you simply have to know how to do stuff if you're going to be successful and get results. You have to be really good at something. Where do you get the knowledge? Wide variety of areas. Some you're familiar with, some maybe you're not. Some you were forced to do, like going to K through 12 school. But you can get knowledge at the library, basically all free. You can buy it at a bookstore, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, online, in person, whatever. You can have experts tell you, go to a consultant, go to a mentor, somebody who can help you with what you want to learn. You can attend seminars, group environments where you have an expert speaking. Internet is huge. One of my best strategies that works on, and I've used it so many times, where you decide you want to learn how to do something. You want to learn how to invest in real estate. You want to learn how to become a better marketer. You want to learn dancing, whatever it is, training dogs. Here's all you have to do. Go to the internet, Google the top 10 books on dog training, the top 10 books on real estate investing, and you're going to get a list. So you can either Google it or go to Amazon and then do the same thing with a search. And then don't just read the books. Order those books, read them, study them, take notes like you were going to college. It is probably the best college education you could get without going to college. And in a lot of ways, would consider it better. But obviously, and I'm sensitive about this because I'm a college professor. And on some level, almost all of my success that I've had came from the fact that I went to college and I did learn a lot. Again, it wasn't always easy and I wasn't always cooperating, but at some stage I did learn a lot. So there's junior college, 2-year technical institutes, home study courses. Most of what I know about real estate, everybody thinks because I have a PhD in finance and all that good stuff, I learned it in school. I never had a real estate class. I learned it all through all of these other things that we've been talking about. Lots of home study courses. But the more detailed, specialized knowledge you get, the better. You just kind of start general and then get specific. Some basic success habits that Hill talks about, and we'll talk about some of these more along the way. But a successful person has to have self-discipline. If you order those 10 books that we just talked about, set up a schedule, read a certain amount of time every day, and you're going to do that no matter what. And you stick to it. You do what you say you're going to do. That is a success habit. And if you're going to learn the specialized knowledge, you have to have a program. That's why school works, is because they force you to do it every day. You go 5 days a week to high school. You go in an organized fashion in college. That forces you to have self-discipline. Successful people make decisions. They decide they're going to do something and then they do it. Successful people are on time. They don't lie to themselves. They treat other people with respect by honoring their time. Successful people accept responsibility. They have no excuses when, well, gee, I couldn't do this. Let me blame someone else. No, successful people, it was my fault. Even frankly, if it isn't your fault, you want to accept responsibility. Uh, Successful people are action oriented. They finish what they start. They have a sense of closure. They believe in continuing education. You're not done when you graduated college. You keep learning throughout your life. And successful people are ambitious. They want a better life. There's something out there they want, and they go after it. They persist. Every goal or achievement you are going after will have setbacks. Successful people persist and drive through it. They're willing to change. If you have a job you hate, so many people just sit there and they take it. They complain about it. But they never change. In the long, some things you can change right away. Some things you can change over time. But you have to be willing to change. If you're not getting the results you want right now, that's based on your current psychology and your current set of actions. Well, the only way you're going to get what you want is to change what you're doing. And yet it's so simple, and yet people don't do it. Successful people have imagination. They think outside the box. They don't just do what everybody else is doing. And they're always looking for opportunity. They're looking for ways to do it. If somebody comes to you with a business opportunity or anything at all that's a little out of the ordinary for you, most people sit around and think of 10,000 reasons why it won't work, instead of thinking about why it will work. You should always be looking for why things will work. How could I make that work? That's the attitude of a successful person. Then he'll kind of wraps this chapter up with what he calls the cash formula. And this is sort of putting together what we've just talked about. You need knowledge. You got to have something to offer the world. And it should be specific, not general knowledge. Sometimes it boils down to not so much how to do something, but who can show you how to do it or who can help you. And that's where the idea of a mastermind, which again, we will talk more about, putting yourself around people who can help you and are like-minded. So that's the first step of the cash formula. Get some knowledge so you got something to give and share. And then 2, got to have this attitude, which we've just talked about, this attitude that we can do it. You have to be positive. Again, thinking in terms of how can we do it, as opposed to, why it won't work. Number 3, you have to have skills. So you have to have knowledge, but you have got to be able to do stuff. That's implementation. And those are skills. And you need to improve your skill set. If you're in sales, it's not enough to know how to sell. You got to practice. You got to get in front of people and make presentations and make closes. That's the skill part. And then 4 is the good habits, the success habits that we just got done talking about. Finally, kind of to wrap this up, success takeaway, you got to be really good at something. I've said that multiple times here, but it's really true. Very few people are successful that aren't really good at something. If you know someone who's successful and you're saying, well, they're not that good, you're just typically a function of you're envious of them. Or you think they were lucky and all that sort of thing. And again, we've covered that before. People aren't lucky. Most people that make it do it because they do certain things really well. You combine that kind of talent with the people skills, learning how to deal with people, and you're virtually guaranteed of career success. Here are some action steps for you. Pick some area that is your dominant goal. We've talked about the goal setting before. Find the top 10 books on that. Do it now. Do it today. Go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, do a search, or Google it. but top 10. Actually do it. Don't just talk about it. Don't think about it. Go do it. And then over the next 3 months, set up a schedule where you're going to read and study those books. I guarantee you that's going to give you the knowledge you need to implement this step. Continue with your affirmations. You should be doing those every day. And then start implementing. This will depend on what your topic was. But don't just read about it, but start putting it into action. Do it. This is the skill development. Again, if it's sales, you should be making presentations, making phone calls to line up appointments, doing the presentations, closing, handling objections. Practice every day. And then keep it up until you achieve what you're trying to do. The old 21 days, do it for at least 21 days and you will have a habit. And then it's actually hard to change. On that note, we're good. We'll see you in the next module. Thanks.